Putting decides more scores than your driver ever will. Yet most golfers just guess at the break and hope for the best. The truth is, reading greens is a skill, and once you learn it, you'll make more putts and drop strokes fast. Let's dive into the secrets that pros use to read greens like a book. The first thing to understand is that putting isn't just about hitting the ball straight. It's about predicting how the ball will travel over a surface that is full of tiny slopes, subtle tilts, changes in grass, and even differences in moisture or grain. When you see the pros' hole putts that seem impossible, it's not luck. It's because they've trained their eyes, their feet, and even their instincts to recognize those tiny details. If you want to make more putts, you need to learn to see the green the way they do. Start with the big picture. Before even thinking about your stroke, take a moment to look at the entire green. Don't just stare at your ball and the hole. Look at the green from where you're standing on the fairway or fringe. Which direction would water flow if it rained right now? Most greens are built with a natural drainage direction, so there's always a high point and a low point. When you can identify those, you already have a head start. This isn't just a good habit, it's what almost every tour player does before they even mark their ball. That first glance from a distance tells them whether the putt will generally move left, right, uphill, or downhill. Next comes something that most amateur golfers skip: using your feet. Your eyes are good, but your feet are better at feeling subtle slopes. When you walk toward the green, pay attention to what you feel underfoot. Are you walking slightly uphill or slightly downhill? Do you feel your weight shift to one side? This information is gold. Professional golfers are constantly using their feet to measure slope, and some even use systems like aim point, which literally teach you to read slope by feel. You don't need to go that far if you don't want to, but simply being aware of how the ground feels can tell you things your eyes might miss. Grain is another factor that catches people off guard. Grain is the direction the grass is growing. On certain types of grass, especially Bermuda grass, grain can influence the speed of a putt more than the slope does. If the grain is growing in the same direction your ball is rolling, it will go faster. If it's growing against your putt, it will feel like you hit it into a headwind. A simple way to read grain is to look at the color of the grass. If it looks shiny, the grain is going away from you. If it looks darker, the grain is coming toward you. Also, check the edges of the hole. If one side looks ragged or burnt, that's the direction the grain is pulling. Once you've taken in the big picture, you can start focusing on the putt itself. The most important part of green reading is not the entire line, it's the last few feet near the hole. That's where most of the break happens because the ball is moving slower and gravity has more time to pull it down the slope. Focus your attention on how the ball will enter the hole. Will it drop in from the left? From the right? How much speed would allow it to do that? Once you know how you want the ball to enter the cup, you can work backward to figure out your starting line. Visualization is a powerful tool here. Imagine the entire path the ball will take, including the apex, the highest point of the break before it starts turning back toward the hole. The pros don't just see the line in their mind, they see the ball rolling over it. They see it curving, slowing down, and falling in. This mental picture helps them commit to the stroke. If you ever find yourself unsure, step back and visualize again until you have a clear picture in your head. Speed control and green reading go hand in hand. You can't separate them. If you hit a putt too hard, it will break less because the ball spends less time being influenced by the slope. If you hit it too softly, it will break more and may come up short. This is why pace is everything. Tour pros spend hours calibrating their feel for speed on the practice green every week. They roll putts from different distances just to feel how far the ball goes with their natural stroke. You can do the same. Practice hitting to the fringe or to a tee from various distances, not even worrying about the hole. The more consistent your speed becomes, the easier it will be to match the right line to the right pace. Now let's talk about choosing your aim point. This is where most golfers underread. Studies have shown that average golfers underread break by nearly half. That means they aim too close to the hole and miss low. The ball almost always breaks more than you think, especially on longer putts. A good habit is to give the putt a little extra room to break. Aim a bit higher than feels natural. Even if you overdo it slightly, you'll often leave yourself an easier tap-in coming back. Missing on the high side is called a pro miss for a reason. It leaves the ball near the hole with a chance to drop. Missing low is dead. The ball never had a chance. When you have your red, commit to it. This is where a lot of amateurs second-guess themselves. They stand over the ball and suddenly change their mind, or they try to steer the putt with their hands. Once you've done your homework, trust it. Your only job now is to start the ball on your chosen line with the speed you visualized. Confidence is a huge part of putting. A committed stroke, even with a slightly imperfect read, is often better than a perfect read with a tentative stroke. Practice strokes are a big part of this process. They're not just for warming up, they're for locking in feel. When you take a couple of practice strokes, you're programming your brain with the exact length and tempo you need. Do it while looking at the hole, not at the ball. This connects your eyes, brain, and hands. When you finally step up to hit the putt, all you have to do is repeat that motion. Over time, you'll get better at reading greens by building a feedback loop. Every time you putt, pay attention to what happens. Did the ball break as much as you thought? Was your speed correct? Did the grain affect it more than expected? Use that information for the next putt. Pros are constantly adjusting their reads throughout the round, based on what they see the ball doing. If your first few putts of the day all come up short, you know the greens are slower than you expected. Adjust. Another underrated part of green reading is dealing with optical illusions. Greens can fool your eyes. A putt might look like it breaks left because of surrounding slopes or bunkers, but the true break might be the opposite. That's why checking from multiple angles helps. If one angle makes the putt look completely different, trust the one from the low side or use your feet to confirm which way it really tilts. Weather and time of day also matter. Greens are slower in the morning when there's dew, and faster in the afternoon when they dry out. They may get bumpy late in the day as more groups walk across them. Be aware of these changes and adjust your reads and speed control as the round goes on. Finally, be patient with yourself. Green reading is an art as much as a science. The more you practice, the better your instincts will get. At first, you might feel like you're overanalyzing every putt, but soon it will become automatic. You'll walk onto a green and immediately sense which way it tilts, how fast it is, and how much break to play. That's when putting becomes fun instead of frustrating. Putting is called the game within the game for a reason. It's where championships are won and lost. But the good news is you don't need to hit 300-yard drives to putt like a pro. You just need to learn how to read the green the way they do, by taking in the big picture, using your feet, reading grain, focusing on the last few feet, visualizing the line, controlling speed, picking a smart aim point, and trusting your stroke. When you put all of these together, you give yourself the best possible chance to roll the ball in the hole. And when you start seeing more putts drop, golf suddenly becomes a whole lot more enjoyable. Because there's no better feeling in this game than reading a tricky putt perfectly, stroking it on line, and hearing that satisfying sound of the ball hitting the bottom of the cup. And that's how you start reading greens like a pro. The more you practice these tips, the more confident you'll feel over every putt, and the fewer strokes you'll leave out there. Now I want to hear from you. What's the toughest part of green reading for you? Spotting the slope, judging the speed, or trusting your line? Drop your answer in the comments. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more golf tips, and share it with a friend who's tired of three-putting.